Hello, it is 9 p.m. news here on Gttv coming to you live from our studios in Westfield, and I am Aisha Tukuli. First, the headlines. President Barrow receives OIC assessment team from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia ahead of the OIC summit. Ex-Information Minister Demba Ali Jawo reacts to the explosion of Gambians' foreign diplomats. Wuli Islam, Honorable Suebu Toure confirms accepting the allocated vehicles by the National Assembly. Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Sidi Eskenjai, has been awarded African Lawmaker of the Year. The Appeal Committee of GFF has reduced TMT Football Club's punishment to 3 points and a fine of $25,000. These and many other stories coming ahead in the news. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching GCTV News with me, Aisha Tukuli. Now we begin with the presidency. His Excellency President Adama Barrow on Tuesday received a high-powered delegation of the OIC team at the State House in Banjul. The visit was aimed at discussing the level of Gambia's readiness ahead of the December summit this year. President Barrow assured the team of Gambia's readiness in hosting the world's second largest gathering and expressed the political will and his government's commitment in taking all necessary measures to host the meeting. Sheriff Conte tells us more.
His Excellency President Adama Barrow on Tuesday received a high-powered delegation of the OIC team at the State House in Banjul. The visit was aimed at discussing the levels of the Gambia's readiness ahead of December summit this year. President Barrow assured the team of Gambia's readiness in hosting the world's second largest world gathering and expressed the political will and his government's commitment in taking all necessary measures to host the meeting. His Excellency Ambassador Yusuf Al-Dobe, Assistant Secretary of Political Affairs and Head of Delegation, said the delegation is in the country to discuss the level of preparedness in hosting the 15th OIC summit.
Gambia was honored with a delegation from the OIC to arrive to Gambia, and we were very much honored to meet with His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia, where we have discussed all the preparations for the upcoming summit, 15th OIC summit, that will be held in Gambia in the second half of December 2023.
He further said that he has been coming to the Gambia for the last 4 years and has seen the progress done and are confident of hosting the summit in this year, December.
As His Excellency the President has informed us that the Gambia has the political will and support for this summit, and all of us, we are given all of this needed support to ensure the success of the summit that will be held at the end of this year. And I have been coming to Gambia for the last 4 years, and I have overseen all of the preparations for the summit. And we are very much confident that, as His Excellency the President has said, there is a political will to ensure the success of this important summit, and this will take place. And I would like to thank the government and the people of the Gambia, headed by His Excellency the President, and all of my colleagues also join me in thanking Gambia for this very important work that they have done.
The Gambia is expected to host the second gathering of world leaders in December this year. After the postponement of 2019 summit, the OIC road includes 50 kilometers of new roads, including a modern dual carrier of 6 lanes, each on each side. New water system to be constructed with transmissions. The OIC Gambia will also double the capacity of NAWEC transformers and overhead electrical cables, equip the police with modern operating system and technical trainings. A 5-star hotel, VVPI Lodge at the Gambia International Airport. Reporting for GTTV News, I am Sheriff Conte.
Moving on, Demba Ali Jawo, former Minister of Information in Barrow's first 5-year term, has advised the government to revisit its foreign policy after the embarrassing explosion of 3 Gambian diplomats from the United States of America. He said it is time the Gambia revisited its foreign policy, particularly as it relates to the caliber of people that are entrusted with the country's foreign diplomatic. Sheriff Conte again.
Demba Ali Jawo, former Minister of Information in Barrow's first 5-year term, has advised the government to revisit its foreign policy after the embarrassing expulsion of 3 Gambian diplomats from the United States of America. He said it is time the Gambia its foreign policy, particularly as it relates to the caliber of people that are entrusted with the country's foreign diplomatic mission. The diplomats are Mustafa Sose, Deputy Head of Mission, Finance Attached Alaji Babu Juf, and the First Secretary Pasako Dabo in an alleged visa fraud. The fourth person, Abdul Cham, was alleged of domestic violence. Recalling the past, Mr. Jao said it is not the first time for such an embarrassment to happen to Gambia's foreign diplomats, and it will certainly not be the last, considering the caliber of people currently manning the foreign mission. He recalled similar action happened at the Gambian embassy in the UK a few years ago when some of the country's diplomats were imprisoned for smuggling cigarettes. On the issue of Foreign Minister Tangara, he said there is no doubt that the current Foreign Affairs Minister Momodu Tangara is one of the most experienced diplomats in the country. But that is certainly not been reflected in the way and manner that the country's foreign policy is being currently implemented and managed. He accuses that the Gambia's foreign policy is being butchered on a daily basis due to the caliber of those representing us abroad. It would have at least made some sense to give them some training in diplomacy rather than just posting people whose only qualifications is their support and allegiance to the ruling party. He concluded by saying, "It is certainly not a wise move to use the Gambia's foreign diplomatic mission as a dumping ground for politicians who have failed at home, only to be compensated with such a posting, and that, unfortunately, is the trend." Reporting for Gttv News, I am Sheriff Conte.
Amid the public outcry over the vehicle issue of National Assembly, in an interview with GTV last week, Honorable Suebu Toure, the National Assembly member for Wuli East, has justified the controversial 2.5 million vehicles, as he said he will accept to drive the vehicle. Kadim Bai tells us more.
Suebu Toure, National Assembly member for Wuli East, has justified the controversial 2.5 million vehicles, as he said he will accept to drive the vehicles. Speaking to GTTV Bankola Kuo, he said that he will take the vehicles allocated to me by the National Assembly. According to him, the lawmakers did not tell the National Assembly the kind of vehicles they want. It was the National Assembly that negotiated the type of vehicle and said that the National Assembly has told them that they are going to make a contribution towards the project.
And then I explained what I just told you. And the rest of the issues concerns from people, like one of the things that you have said. Yes. When you elect somebody to represent you, you have given various roles to that person. That person is a lawmaker. He also becomes a representative. And representation is right. And he's also an overseer. He has the role of oversight. And then you have other roles that are not prescribed. So it's like you are everybody's person. Now, that person has to do his or her work. It is the responsibility of the state. You are working for the state. Know the difference between state and government. When you are working for the state, is what you are working for the country. And it is the country now that has prescribed that role for you to provide you the means to be able to do your work. If you want the Wuli East representative to go to the East every month, to visit the people, to look at the projects that are there, to look at the conditions of the people, conditions of any other thing, and report to the National Assembly, and advocate in the National Assembly, etc., etc. You have to give the means to that member to be able to go and to come. And to be able to go adequately and to come adequately. Now, in terms of the cost, the members of the National Assembly did not say, we want a vehicle which is this amount. They did not say that. They only told us, we are going to make a contribution scheme, and your contribution will be, your allowance on this travel thing will go into the vehicle. What type of vehicle they bring, that is their own negotiation. Secondly, that negotiation also that is done by the authority, the National Assembly authority, is also based on the policy of the government that is in place. And the policy of the government is that they are not going to buy substandard vehicles. Whenever they are putting government money into buying vehicles, it cannot be substandard, it can only be standard vehicles. Means
new one.
It has to be new, it has to be strong people. These are people who are going all the way to Kantola, to only everywhere, and they are going off the road, so they need a good vehicle, and that's what they provide for all the civil servants, all the public servants, and that's what they have to provide for the national assembly as well. If you give me my own allowance, I can go and buy a small Benz and then do my own trial to get to my constituency and back. But if the state is going into buying vehicles, their policy is that they will not buy any vehicle which is less than 2.5. And those are the, them call it four-wheel drive, etc., and they must be new. That is the scheme. So the cost is not the National Assembly member that says it must be 3 million. It is the state that prescribes the 3 million, the cost of the vehicle. Now, from 2.5, how it reaches 3, for example, I wouldn't know unless I inquire. Because the clarification of the clerk did not mention the price and did not mention why it has reached that. But I suppose something that is approved in 2022, we know the dollar is depreciating, and the dollar is appreciating. And that's why all the prices are going up. All the inflation is going up. And the reason why one can deduce as one of the possibilities of the increase in terms of price will be based on the inflation that is taking place. Secondly, since you are not giving all the money to CFRO at one go to go and buy vehicles, it looks like the negotiation, only the clerk will be able to explain that. And
this allocation came from the 2021 approved budget. And since the National Assembly is autonomous, they decide to do things on their own by taking it to the president to assent. The negotiation done by the National Assembly authorities was based on government policies, which stated that they are not going to buy substandard vehicles, and the same policy said they are not going to buy any vehicle that is less than $2.5 million. I rejected those vehicles given by President Barrow in 2017, which he said were giving it to the National Assembly members without its issues being clear to us, he added. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Kadimbai.
CDS Kenjai, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, has been awarded African Lawmaker of the Year for his remarkable leadership and outstanding performance in governance. The award was presented to him by the African Leadership magazine at the 8th African Summit held in London, UK. Modu Lamin Job files in this report.
Sidi Eskenjai, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, has been awarded African Lawmaker of the Year award for his remarkable leadership and outstanding performance in governance. The award was presented to him by the African Leadership magazine at the 8th Africa Summit held in London, UK. The African Leadership magazine commended Honorable Njai for his tireless efforts and exceptional contribution to national development, the preservation of parliamentary democracy, and good governance. His bravery and courage in providing oversight over the executive and judiciary were recognized as instrumental in ensuring transparency, accountability, and fairness in delivering and dividends of democracy to the people. The African Good Governance Awards celebrate political and government leaders who have demonstrated exceptional leadership and made significant contributions to governance, leading to the socio-economic development of Africa. These individuals have positioned their respective countries as beacons of progress and development within the continent. Honorable Sidi Eskenjai's recognition as the African Lawmaker of the Year 2022 serves as a testament to his dedication, vision, and unwavering commitment to the betterment of the Gambia and the advancement of democracy in Africa as a whole. His exemplary leadership sets a standard for others to emulate and inspire hope for the brighter future on the African continent. As a statement from the National Assembly shared. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Lamin Job.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is Gttv News, and I am Aissatou Koli. Now we look at the internationals. Libya has been a passage route for thousands of African migrants fleeing economic hardship in their respective country of origin to reach Europe through the perilous ocean travel that has resulted in the death of thousands of migrants since its inception in 2011. Recently, 140 Gambians who were stranded in Libya were evacuated back home through the support of the International Organization of Migration. Lami MCC passed in this report.
Libya has been a passage route for thousands of African migrants fleeing economic hardship in their respective countries of origin to reach Europe through the perilous ocean travel that has resulted in deaths of thousands of migrants since its inception in 2011. Recently, 140 Gambians who were stranded in Libya were evacuated back home through the support of the International Organization for Migration. The Gambian returnees describe life in Libya as harsh and horrible. They describe the situation as harsh and horrible as they do not meet the required standard of human accommodation. Shortly after their arrival at the airport in Banjul, the returnees complained of the harsh conditions of these detention centers in Libya. They said the detention centers are not fit to be called accommodation center for human beings. The detention centers are also infested with bed bugs and many other sucking insects, which make the place harder to sleep in, and this has caused their health conditions to deteriorate. They said rights groups say many migrants experience horrific treatment there, both at the hands of smuggling gangs and inside state-run detention centers. Libya has been plagued by conflict and chaos since Colonel Muhammad Gaddafi was toppled in 2011. A Libyan court has jailed 37 for human trafficking, following the deaths of 11 migrants who drowned in the Mediterranean Sea. 5 members of the criminal gang were sentenced to life in prison. Others received between 1 and 15 years. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Lamil MCC.
Welcome back. Now to sports. The Gambia Football Federation's appeal committee has maximized a harsh punishment against TMT Academy Football Club for the club's derogatory remarks against FA in Facebook post and deducted the second division team 10 points. But after the club's public apology issued on their official Facebook page, GFF Appeal Committee observed that the conduct by the TMT Football Club is contrary to Section 29, 30, 34 and 35 of the Disciplinary Code of the GFF. Sheriff Conte again.
The Gambia Football Federation's appeal committee has minimized a harsh punishment against TMT Football Academy Club for the club's derogatory remarks against FA in Facebook posts and deduced the second division club 10 points. But after the club's public apology issued on their Facebook page, GFF Appeal Committee observed that the deduct by TMT Football Club is contrary to Section 29, 30, 34 and 35 of Disciplinary Code of Conduct of GFF. Consequently, the committee has resolved that there is need a case to answer against TMT Football Club and that the offense cannot go unpunished. On that regard, TMT Football Club was deducted 3 points as per Article 35, number 1 and 2. The club was also fined $25,000 in line with the Article 35, number 2 of the Code of Conduct. The committee also resolved to issue the club with a strict warning letter to desist from future occurrences and to offer an official apology letter to GFF, which should be sent to the Secretariat of the GFF not later than 5 days, failure of which will attract further $25,000 fine. The appeal committee of GFF has urged all members of GFF to desist from such behavior that will be regarded as club misconduct, inciting hatred and violence, offensive and unsporting behavior that would offend the dignity of a person or group of a person through contemptuous, disciplinary or derogatory remarks. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Sheriff Conte.
Well, viewers, that's all we have for you in today's bulletin. But before we take leave of you, here are some of our headlines. President Barrow receives OIC assessment team from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia ahead of the OIC summit. Ex-Information Minister Demba Ali Jawo reacts to the explosion of Gambians' foreign diplomats. Wuli Isnam, Honorable Suebu Toure confirms accepting the allocated vehicles by the National Assembly. Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Sidi Eskenjai, has been awarded African Lawmaker of the Year. The Appeal Committee of GFF has reduced TMT Football Club's punishment to 3 points and a fine of $25,000. Well, viewers, that's all we have for you in today's bulletin. Do join us tomorrow for another bulletin. Until then.